Hello everyone, welcome back. We've already been through this once, so maybe it'll be a good thing. We get a practice run here, and the only unfortunate thing is everything I brought in for topping, everybody pretty much devoured it while I was sat here on the table while we were waiting for 2 o'clock to come across. So anyways, we still have things that we'll show you. Today's topic, as you all know, is on add-ins, things like ice cream that you can add to your shaved ice, and beans to make it a little more Hawaiian authentic if you're going that route. Also toppers, things that you can put on top of your shaved ice, and then additional items, things that you can use in winter and things that you can just sell out of your building or out of your stand that can either complement your product or do it as an additional product in an off season, so it keeps you in business longer. Before we get started, I just want to touch on this briefly for those of you who are brand new. Let me show you how to comment. So if you come in on the discussion, you click on this open discussion platform, and I'll check these, but it seems that people don't comment on Twitter or Facebook. It's a little more difficult, and we have to refresh. So this is kind of the easiest way for all of us, and we added this. So you could just click join the discussion. You can pick a name here. Say I'd rather post as a guest, and then all you have to do is put a name and an email address. Make sure you actually put in a comment here. I call this comment test. Aaron blah, and it's Aaron at blah.com. So just do that, and boom, there's my test, and you guys can ask me questions like that, and we'll keep an eye on that. So coming back to me, I am going to hand the computer over to Alex. She's ducking out of the way, and we'll go through some things. So as I was running in for the webinar, I was more or less going to just talk about a lot of these items, and I decided I'm going to hit Walmart real quick. My point of doing that was you don't necessarily need products from Snowie. We have a couple items that help you be able to pass health code, like our cream topping. Otherwise, you can get products from anywhere. And we have a lot of people request and ask for us to produce those items where we don't really need to. There are many, many companies out there that are distributors of candy. You would be able to receive it from them. So with that said, I ran by, and we'll just do a pan across here, and literally grabbed anything that I thought could be a topping. Yeah, there you go. For shaved ice. So I grabbed some cinnamon bears, some dots, some whoppers, some Reese's Pieces, and then I have some other things that we'll use as add-ins. So right now on toppers, you could do anything you want. And the best part about Walmart is you can go grab the items that you wish. You can test that market. Even just grabbing a bag of like these Kit Kat pieces, you can top a lot of them with just this one bag and try that market out, see if people are interested. You also have the ability, with yogurt shops, you can see all of the items that they can add to their yogurt. You can do the same thing with your shaved ice. And there's people that produce that product in that form, so you can do it in a scoop form and put like crumpled Kit Kats and things like that on top of your shaved ice. So I left out this block on purpose. We've had quite a few advancements on our block shaver, so I thought I would just show you loading that and point out a couple different things. So one thing that we do lately too is we will, on the block, rather than mess with the bag, we can slide it down and pull the bag off, but sometimes even that's a little difficult. So what we've done lately is just cut around that block, and then it exits that bag really, really easy. And so that then lets me, and it also lets me put it back in the bag when I'm done a lot easier as well. Now I can just pop that in place. And now that's sitting in place. And this is going back a ways, but we used to have some pressure flaps. And many of you might even have that, where we used to slam these. And I think I've shown videos since then, but it used to be that we would have to slam that in place in order for that to drop. And it was harder because if there were littler people and and young girls that were working, it was difficult for them to get that in place and to get that down. Now, as you can see, it's very, very easy. I can just drop that in place and it's ready. Then I grab this and I tighten the pressure flap manually. And we used to have a circle here when we went to this form, and even that had some flex that was going on, and so we ended up going with this whole bar. This makes it very, very strong, and I always go until it's a little awkward to spin on this, and then I just do like a turn with the bar on its own. And if you look down the side of it, you can see that flap now holding that block, and it's holding out all the way against against the back, and I've got enough pressure that I don't even need to bring this foot down and touch on the top of the block. I can just start shaving now. And of course it won't start kicking out snow until that flap gets down there. And we have a speed control now, which I believe we had before, but I'll just point that out. We used to hide it underneath here so that the owners of the business could set it for the speed that they want, and then the employees would have to shave at that speed. But what we found is every block is unique, and you kind of need to adjust the speed according to that block. So we put it on the outside, and then we leave it up to you as far as the training, and be like, look, it goes fast enough, you don't need to crank through it and make snow that isn't a good product. Take it easy. And let it come out and let it be a nice snow. So, with that said, I'm going to bring my foot down and get ready. So I can speed that up real fast, or I can slow it. Go up higher so they can see it. So I'll go up to the load state. You guys can see that foot up here. And when I start this, oh, I left it on fast. So I'm going to be shaving. I'm not getting, oh, this foot pedal is not. Okay, so you have that pedal up here, and I'm probably going to shave somewhere around like that speed. But sometimes I can take a while to get down there. So you can, when you're in a load state and you're in a hurry, you can just hurry and crank, get that down to right where you want it, and then slow it up. So now, start shaving here. You can see this beautiful snow that is coming out. And so just touching on the shaver again. Speed that up just a hair. I can form my top and have shaved ice. So you can do that just like a normal one, like we've shown before. Or you can do some add-ons, and that's really what today's webinar is about, is what you can add on top of it. And again, going back to that, this is nothing that we need to provide. You can get this anywhere. And then once you decide on a product that you like, you can then find a distributor for that product and get it for a much cheaper price so you can make a greater profit. So usually when you're doing add-ins, you'll want to go with a larger cup so you have some space to do it. Or actually, I take that back. We're doing toppers right now. So if I did have this 8 ounce, I can just come through here and I can flavor it. I could put stuff in the middle, and I'll show you that on the next one. If you wanted to add items in the middle, like a candy bar or pieces of a candy bar like that Kit Kat, or you could even put them on top. And obviously you're not going to want to do this with your hands. This is where you'd start having to use gloved hands. That's one thing we've always loved with shaved ice, with our shavers, is you don't have to ever touch the customer's product. When you start doing these things and you're making a design out of it, you obviously are going to need to wear gloves because you're now touching their product. And you can do that with anything. So if we wanted to add Reese's to that, you can just go ahead and add to it, and people will pay a markup for that. And these can be very, very cheap, especially when you buy them in bulk. Anyway, so that makes an awesome product. Now, you can obviously, the ones that I put on there are geared mostly to kids. You can gear things to adults, like I went and got this goji. I'm probably saying that wrong, and everybody will make fun of me forever. Oh, it's right. Alex is correcting me, or approving. And Anyway, so you could do that, have some products that appeal to adults. One of the greatest things that we use is cream topping. Now we make a cream topping that the health department will let you pass. It's a non-dairy creamer product, and therefore you still have to keep it cold, but you don't have to follow the restrictions of dairy where you have to have a commercial fridge to be able to keep it. Now if you did want to do those things, that was another item that I wanted to talk about. If you have not gotten your stand yet, or even if you have, we can make some modifications. But if you're looking at getting into this business and you're debating on other products that you're going to do, or products that you would like to add to your shaved ice, and it requires different equipment, we can do all of that for you. Sometimes I think we give the impression that because it's not standard, because it doesn't come with it immediately, that we can't do it. That is untrue. We've put freezers in where people, all they do is gelato, and we've filled our stands with freezers that allow them to be able to do that. And we've done ovens and stuff like that for other products that we'll talk about in a minute. So another item, what we basically discussed are toppers, things that you can put on top. Again, you can do anything that you want there. And that's another advantage of us not being a franchise. You can function under the Snowie name, and again, the only agreement you have with us is if you use Snowie's name, we require that you purchase our flavors, just to ensure that everybody gets a consistent product and a consistent taste from a Snowie shaved ice stand. But outside of that, you could sell whatever you would like, as long as it's appropriate. But you can sell, well, we'll get into some of the additional products, but any topper right now, we'll kind of focus on that, but no, even any additional products, even if you wanted to sell waters at a concert, go for it. There's nothing restricting you like a franchise would in this scenario. So let's talk about some add-ons. And usually an add-in is a product that instead of topping it, you'll actually put it inside of your shaved ice. Now I had 6 of these this morning, and we used one for a sample, and somehow we're down to 2. I'm not quite sure how that happened. But so this is a Reese's peanut butter ice cream cup, and this guy went through here and looked at my receipt. This guy here is a ice cream, so it's $3.48 for that pack of 6. So basically, it's 58 cents a piece if I do a whole one, or if I cut them in half, they're 29 cents a piece. And I should be able to charge $1 more if they want this added to their product. And you could figure out what you want to do. If you feel like $1's too much, then you can lessen that a bit. But I'm actually going to break that and use half of that product. So I'm just going to bust it up. I'm not touching it. The health department loves this because it's a prepackaged product. I'm not scooping ice cream. I'm not coming anywhere in contact with this ice cream. And I can then drop half of that into there, and then keep that in a freezer and wait for later. So now I've got this at the bottom of my cup, and I can go ahead and shave. Speed that up a bit. And so now, when I do it, I have that Reese's peanut butter ice cream cup at the bottom, and I could also do that with, and there's no sense in flavoring this right now, but if I wanted to, and I'll just kind of split that up. These are also, this is a great value vanilla cup. Now I know you can get these for much more of a bargain if you bought these in bulk, and there's companies that supply these, and there's even smaller versions of this. These guys, when you look at my receipt, they were $3.97 for a pack of 12, which means they're 40 cents a piece. I think it'd be a little hard to cut these ones in half. You're probably good just to put them in, but like I say, you should be able to even get smaller versions of this to use in your product. And they're very, very easy. You can just peel that top right off and have my ice cream, and I'm just going to squeeze it out of that cup. So we've talked about people doing this quite a bit, and And there's probably even a better way to do it than Aaron's way. And the idea is you don't touch that product. And now they've got their ice cream. You were able to mark up the price for that, and then they're able to get that half through their shaved ice. And you can just top it off. And I'm gonna do that a little more. And now I've got 2 items in there. And those are add-ins. And again, you can be creative with this. You can do whatever you would like. I'm making a mess. And really the whole point of this was I didn't even have to go and find a supplier. I just thought, you know, we get a lot of questions, a lot of requests about add-ons, about things that people can put on top, can put inside. People that are doing beans, it's very easy to find beans to make that authentic Hawaiian shaved ice. And anyway, I'm getting a bite here that has this snow and ice cream. And it's delicious. Ice cream is an awesome thing to have. Now, going back to the cream topping, I touched on that. When sorry, I might be repeating myself. You still have to keep this cold, but you don't need that fridge. So what a lot of people will do is they'll just use like those champagne chillers, where they just put it in a bucket with ice, and that will keep it cold, and the health department is okay with that. That's where this product is a beauty. You can still do all that, and the health department stays happy. Once you bring in dairy is when everything gets shifted a bit. So you got to plan out your business. If you're going to use dairy, we can modify your stand, and we can put in refrigerators and freezers that can accommodate that. So make sure you let us know if that's something that you want to do. Now, so we talked about some add-ins, we talked about toppers, and we wanted to talk about some additional items. Meaning, if I wanted to sell sandwiches, there's lots of delis in your area that would love to expand their market and sell sandwiches and things like that through your stand. And they would love another avenue to be able to do those things. And they just prepackage that sandwich. And again, now it's prepackaged, it's wrapped, you're not even touching it, and it's very easy for you to then move that on to a customer. So you can expand your business that way. So those are things that kind of are additional items while you're doing shaved ice. You can do lemonade. You can make a frozen lemonade still using your shaved ice. You can sell waters. I brought that up before. And one thing that has become extremely popular here, and I don't know if it's necessarily that way throughout the United States, is soda. We have stands that are doing soda like crazy, and you usually want to go with a bigger stand. So if you were buying a stand from us, you would want to go with a 10x7 so that we can put a big enough water supply and a big enough waste tank to accommodate a soda station. And anyway, and then you can get your dirty Diet Cokes and Dr. Peppers and vanilla Diet Coke and stuff like that. And you can even use all of our flavors for that. We have a lot of people that will buy our coconut and buy our French vanilla and lime and different things to be able to modify their soda. And anyway, so that all of those are different avenues that you can go, and it's a great option for you. Now let's talk about winter products a bit. We have people that will do waffles, we'll have people that will do crepes, we have people that do hot chocolate and coffee, and one thing that I've brought up in webinars past have been soups. One thing I've always wanted to do is a bread bowl and a soup, and I've never pulled the trigger on it. I've always had a busy winter and never chased it, but I've always wanted to do a bread bowl with a soup. It's very easy to keep your soup contained and hot, and you can do all of that in that stand and fill up a bread bowl, sell it to a customer, and you could have a great product that way and sustain your business throughout the winter. It's a great option. Now, with all of this said, I would probably say about 80% of the people who do shaved ice, and especially with Snowie, because that's our experiences, the people that we work with, only do shaved ice. They don't do a lot of toppers. And then there's other people that feel like that's a big deal. And it is. And it also depends on your competition, what they're doing, and what you feel is drawing, what they're doing to draw people in. Some people love the simplicity of it. Some people love all of the add-ins and how creative they can get with it. I know Estella has done gummy worms, and you could sell that as like a zombie one. It has worms coming out of it, whatever. And it's appealing to kids. It's fun, and it's an experience. And one thing that we have talked about also, and that we got from our forum users, was Pop Rocks. And I've always loved that as a topping. It's kind of an active product when it's put on, and while they're eating, it's active then too. Kids love it. It's an exciting topper to put on your shaved ice. I actually couldn't find it at Walmart when I ran through, but that's a great idea. And Snowie didn't do that, and that's my point with this webinar is just go see what's out there and see what you would like to add to it and see if it's appealing. And test your market. They're all you'll see what they'll pay for and you'll see what they won't. And when they don't do it, well, you can take it home to the fam or bring it to Snowie and everybody else will eat it here. All right, so one thing I wanted to talk about, let me grab an email here. This is an announcement that we were actually going to make at our training, but about 20 minutes before our webinar attempt this morning, Kelly called me up and said, we've got this in place. And what this is many of you have heard of the Michelle Obama, the procedure she's putting in place. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on a word. But she has made it to where, in order to serve children at school, they basically have to fall within a certain compliance. She is developing a supplement where you can add the supplement to a 5-gallon jug. And so now any flavor that you use from that 5-gallon jug now has all of the daily allowance of the vitamins that you're putting into your shaved ice, which now allows you to be able to sell to school children. It's going to be in a powder form, it's flavorless, and it will contain 10% of the daily value of calcium, magnesium, and vitamin D. Now, Michelle Obama's program, that's a better word, it actually wants you to have one of those, 10% of one of those items. We're actually, and there was actually also potassium. But in our development, the potassium gave it kind of a salty flavor. It wasn't tasteless. These items are tasteless, and the calcium and the magnesium are very good combined products. And anyway, so we are actually adding all three, and which is a very, very good thing. And they're actually highly absorbable by the body, and it's very high quality stuff. We didn't pinch on this. There were a lot of avenues that we could have gone with this, and we went with a very, very, very high quality product. And anyway, and Kelly's right in the middle of developing that. Along with that, we're actually now releasing a sugar-free sweet thickener, and all of these things should be available at the time of our training, which is February 5th and 6th. And we're doing everything we can to have those there so that people can taste them, experience them. But we actually have a sweet thickener that is going to be made in the form of stevia. So it's totally natural, and you'll be able to use that with our natural flavors and everything like that as well. In addition to all of that, we are also now adding boosts like you would see at a smoothie shop, where you go in and you can add boosts to your smoothies. And those will all have different variants. And Kelly asked me to actually ask you right now what kind of boosts you guys might be interested in having. And a lot of those that are already out there we're going to duplicate, but if there's any that you specifically like or want, let us know. And you can you can actually email Callie directly at CALLIE at Snowie, SNOWIE.com. Again, that's CALLIE at Snowie.com. And those boosts can affect everything from mood, mental, multivitamin, energy, weight loss, and immune support. Anyway, so we have lots of great things that are coming, and lots of additions, and we've now opened up again that whole school market and did it in a good way to where it is a very, very high value and high quality product. In addition to that too, sugar was also mentioned as part of that. Now your whole drink a lot of times they'll take the sugar content of the syrup and use that as if it was 8 ounces. If I was using an 8-ounce cup, that you're using the sugar content of our syrup for a full 8-ounce cup. And that is not the case. There's only about 2.5 ounces in this cup that you are getting the sugar content from. So your sugar content falls within those regulations as well. So it's nice that way. Now, I think that's pretty much everything that we wanted to touch on today. If you guys have any suggestions or any questions before we end, I'm going to go check that right now. It looks like we have 2 new comments. You could use a spoon. And Anthony said I could use a spoon when dishing it out. You probably could use a spoon. To be honest with you, I don't know. I don't know what the health department is going to require, whether I could use that or not. My intent was, and with the pucks that we've done in the past, Cali, I have where we've done a yogurt puck from our natural stand. And I have some video of Cali doing that. And you can go back and check that out. But we've done that in the past as well, but that was a specialized product. I was trying to find something that everybody could get on a whim. And those, we could actually, they were all paper, so it was a lot like that Reese's cup. And how easy that came out. You can basically break it and then shove out half of it. And she would do the same thing. She would cut it in half, and then she would, and hers were paper, so they were easily, you could just tear them and then squeeze them out of the paper. This one, that cup was a little more sturdy, but I do know that there's cups where people will pop them out, where they're a little more, I don't know, that plastic can bend more and it can just pop right out. So you can go with these cups. It was a little messy how I ended up doing it, but there's some other options. If the health department's cool with you using a spoon, that's great. The one thing that I try to get away from is the health department, and maybe if you hand them the spoon, maybe that's a good thing and that would pass, but the health department really dislikes you scooping ice cream. So you can't go get a quart of ice cream and scoop it into your product unless you have that freezer and you also have, well, you have everything you need to be able to wash that utensil, so all that should be fine. But what we've found is the health department gives people a lot of flack when they start scooping ice cream. And so that's what we're trying to get away from is popping that puck. Let me see here again. Have a comment about being excited about stevia. Yeah, we all are. That's been in development for a while, and we're all excited about that. Does anybody have any questions? Do you have any boosters that you would like to see in our products? And while I let you think about that, again, I'm going to mention our training that we have February 5th and 6th. It's a 2-day event, and we're going to have lots of taste tests going on there. We're actually bringing in a hot chocolate, 2 different hot chocolate products that we've had people rave about, and they're great items that you're able to use in an off season. That stevia will be there. We'll also have these vitamins available. Everything is available to try. And then of course you're going to have lots of hands-on experience. We're going to teach you about the business, different ways to manage that. We're bringing in some guest speakers. It's going to be an incredible event. We're excited about it. So just touch on that. I'll check one more time for questions, and if not, we will move on. Oh, check Facebook comments. Thanks, Anthony. I am a member of the Young Entrepreneurs Academy in Pennsylvania, and was wondering if I can get maybe a discount or special pay plan for a Snowie building. P.S. I'm 13 years old. Anthony, you're a stud. We have a lot of young kids that get into this business. Some of them, a lot of them, have their parents help. Some of them don't. And I'm impressed by you. You'll have to contact us directly and see if there's something that we can do. I can't answer that question here or even by myself. We would have to bring in the powers that be. But we're happy to talk to you about it. And good on you. But the greatest part of Snowie is creating new opportunities for people, and it's cool you're doing that. Good job. And if that's it, thank you everyone. I appreciate you coming to the webinar today. I hope it was informational. Obviously it was a very quick one and very brief, but a lot of information here, and really just emphasizing again, go and get whatever you want and add that to your shaved ice. You don't need These type of items you don't need to get from Snowie. You can do anything you want. And if there's a lot of things that you see that your competition is doing, do it, and do it better. That's what Snowie is all about. Do it better than the next guy, and bring that crowd to you. And there's a lot of advantages in doing that. You have shavers that are a lot faster, shavers that can make an incredible snow, and also ones that are convenient. That could do it from cube if you have a hard time getting block or do not want to make block. It's limitless, and you can constantly improve. You can bring out a flavor station and make it to where you can serve a customer every 3 seconds, and make them to where they're making their own. And you can even put it out where people scoop their own items in, like with the things that we're talking here. You can make it like a yogurt stand. There's lots of things that you can do. It's limitless, and just wanted to touch on that. We get this request a lot about these items, and I wanted to talk to you about it. So I think that's it. We'll see you in about 2 weeks for another webinar, and if we are coming to the training, we'll see you February 5th and 6th. Thank you very much. Talk to you soon.